Igara riu thaa mugwanja ari tariki 26 mweri tugene wa iri miaka ni 2026 ene mwihoko wakwa withayo no niranyamukira oro wega ndoka ni tondu wa mohoro gitau jitagwo Maina Kiuma Mucera wa bari ya Mutai mere wathani ndo mwangina ke baina ne awa kumoro kure county ya Itanga county ya Murang'a kirenyiki twina nyarai egwitwo mwari wagaki wa muthoni thiini wa metha-ini itu na njira ya wathiri na njira ciiko twambirerie mohoro maitu. Kamiti ya Senate yutabrukia wa mahinya ni gwetete agreement ya uiguano gatakati ga thirikari ya county ya Nairobi na thirikari nene ta gukorwo iri mugaru na watho na ibatie kwamba kurugamio kwa ihinda nginya watho urumiriro na njira iri yagirire. Governor Sakaja agitetera agreement ino igite ni rehete kana ni kurehe umithio munene kuri county ya Nairobi na makiria ihotithia ukinyaneria wa kihiri gia tabarira cia ukoria wa uthii wa nambere. Tuthikiririe igeikaro giki.
Of the national government as well. It hosts offices of diplomatic missions, and we have very many now coming to Nairobi. We have the UN, we have UNICEF moving. We have around 150, foreign missions headquartered here. It talks about efficient transport network to rural areas, towns, and other local, regional, international cities, commerce and industry. It also provides the capital city to decentralize its functions and the provisions, which is what we are doing with the boroughs, which is really a version of municipalities. The borough structure in the capital. Section 6, clause 5 is the one that says, subject to subsection 2, which is the capital shall be governed and managed in the same manner as the county government. But it says subject to that, the two levels of government shall enter into an agreement regarding the performance of functions and delivery of services by the capital city. So, Chair, given the kind of resources that come to the city, the Senate graciously, through the Division of Revenue, provides 20 billion. The county government owns revenue, which we've really been pushing. It's been going up. The last financial year was 13.8 billion. It is hardly adequate for a capital city. In fact, we are scratching the surface. If you had 20 and 13, 33.8 billion for a city of 7 million people with the requirements. And remember, that census is done at night when Kinakarungo have gone back to the bedroom. So they're counted there. But the services they take, like the water is drinking, is during the day here. So we also lose quite a chunk, based on what time the census is done. Comparatively, Chair, I'll give you maybe one or two examples. If you look at the budget of Paris, is 1.4 trillion shillings, equivalent, with a population of 2 million people. We're at 7, at 33, which sometimes we don't even achieve because of the vagaries of collection of this revenue. So the first thing that I want to state very clearly is that having the agreement is mandatory. It's 14 years late because the law was passed in 2012, Urban Areas and Cities Act. Number two, this agreement is not a transfer of functions. It is not. Transfer of functions happens under Article 187 of the Constitution, where a function, and there must be a deed of transfer. And when you do the deed of transfer, one level of government handles functions ordinarily supposed to be handled by another level of government. We said we will not transfer functions. If anything, the national government transferred some to us through our school feeding program, which we run, and which is very successful. It is actually ordinarily would have been run by the national government. Number two, a transfer of function creates an institution like the NMS that then is used to run those functions, ideally, or the precedents that we have in our country. There is no institution created under this agreement. The county shall do what the county does. The national government shall do what the national government does. But the national government can now, through its appropriation at the National Assembly, create a vote line and resources for the capital city, which are additional. And I'll give you an example because we've been trying to find ways. Nairobi has a shortage of schools, big shortage of schools. A city of 7 million people having 210 schools. I'm sure you can tell me the number of schools in a constituency in your, in Eldoret. In fact, the president is a former member of Eldoret North. He said he had 150 schools when he was MP. And so what we sought to do was to find an injection to build more classrooms, primary and ECD. That was done because of a lack of a framework. It had to be done through CDF. That the president then gave additional 1 billion to Nairobi MPs through CDF to add classrooms. It is not neat, because even that was a big fight in the National Assembly. Because other members of parliament then asked, why is it that they're getting 1 billion more, yet we are not getting that money? So it's a special arrangement. The only county which has that provision and which can leverage on it is Nairobi County. And so as the governor, I have to ask myself a question. If I am straining to provide these services efficiently, and there is a provision of the law that I can take advantage of and get an additional X billion, whatever amount it is, I must run towards that opportunity for the benefit of the people. And the same goes for many other things. One of the things, for instance, Chairman, sorry, I don't take too much time. One of the areas we're partnering is on sanitation. On sanitation, work that ordinarily, would have taken us so many years to do. We are now doing a 54-kilometer sewer line, 27 kilometers on both sides of the river, through the River Commission that we jointly set up, the national government and the county. That project alone is 50 billion shillings. How long would it have taken Nairobi to get 50 billion shillings to do that project that covers the sanitation for the next 40 years for this city? It's a 1.8 by 1.8 box culvert. That project includes 6 billion of treatment plant in Kariobangi, 6 billion shillings. That project includes another 3 billion of last mile connectivity, which supports also the affordable housing and our urban renewal. It includes stadia, linear markets. Kamkunji grounds, if you go today, is different from what. So this also should, formalize some of these arrangements. I have gotten more than 1 kilometer now per ward, 7 billion. There is no space in my budget where I've gotten 7 billion additional. But these are things that are needed. So we took a pragmatic approach because, we can also decide to be too finicky about the exact provision of the law and not end up helping people who actually require these services. And they require them very, very urgently. I keep saying urban poverty is many times worse than rural poverty.
Tukima Nairobi ileke tuhiuke mwena ugi kuri nake minister wa urimi na mahio mutahikago igite no ginya thirikari cia matura na thirikari nene inyitanire na igithia kiumbe ko igithia ruhonge-ini rwa urimi niguo rugacire akiaria mwena wa Malindi kagwe igite ruhonge rwa urimi rutingikinyaniria muoroto waruo agikorwo ruria mukagira mbeca akuma kuri thirikari naguo no ginya runyitanire na igithia kiumbe. Nige aigete kwarahurwo kwa iganda cia cukari kuhitukira igithia kiumbe ni undu ukuhotithia iganda gucokereria riri wacio hindini oro riu murugamiriri wa hinda wa ruhonge rwa AFA Kalisa Zakudi aigete ruhonge rwake ni ruguthie na mbere kuhura njeki ya arimi muno mwena wa gicua-ini.
Small scale farmers who are being contracted by the processors themselves, we want to make an appeal to the processors. When you sign a contract or when you extend your production to a farmer, it is important that you protect that farmer so that you do not ask a farmer to grow a crop which you are not prepared yourself to take. It's a very important appeal that we made because some small scale farmers are complaining that they grew a product that they were told to grow. But when they came to selling the product, the processor was not there. So we want to make sure, and this is why we want to work with county governments. Before And this is where the office of the farmer information is critical. So that farmers can check with the county governments that yes, processor X have come to ask me to grow pineapples. But the question is whether they have signed up, they are recognized by the county government, so that we know this is a legitimate person with the financial capability to carry out the business that they have said that they can carry out. So we want to encourage investors and processors to come, but we want to do it in an efficient manner. You all know the story of the quail. You know, how everybody in Kenya was told to go and keep a quail. You know, a quail is big business, a quail is doing that, you know, and then people just ended up with health issues because of eating too many eggs of quail that they were supposed to be curing all sorts of manner of diseases. Instead, they created health problems for themselves. So this is what we are trying to avoid. We want to have a situation where the industry is streamlined and they work efficiently together. That's the appeal that we have made to the processors. But the biggest appeal that I have made is for people to start investing in agriculture. That is the biggest appeal I'm making. You know, the other day when I was making my presentation in Parliament, I did say that we cannot continue practicing agriculture for 50 million people and thinking that the same agricultural practices will feed the future population of 60, 75 and bigger populations. It cannot be. We are already importing a lot of food. We are importing rice, 80% of our rice. Never mind those people who are going to court saying that we have got rice. When you have got 2,000 bags and you are looking for 2 million bags, you know, it doesn't quite work like that.
Tugithi na mbere niguo wikia wa kura no urathie na mbere icigo-inĩ igĩrĩ cia wodi mwena wa mbere ya rũgongo thegia wa kwĩrĩkana kũrĩ na ũhakani mũnene wa ikia ya kura. Aikari icigo cia Mũminji kana Mũminji na Evurole maraikia kura gũthura arũgamĩrĩri ao mbunge-inĩ ya Embu. Gĩcigo kĩa Mũminji gĩatigĩrwo ũtheri thutha wa ũrĩa warĩ MC wa Newton Karish kwĩyeheria nĩguo ahũranĩre gĩturwa kĩa ũmbunge.
Nimechaguana hapa Kanyombora sahi. Kila kitu inaendelea vizuri. All you need to do ni mobilization kidogo kidogo ili watu wakubali watokee wote tuchaguane. So na niko na imani Mungu atatupea hii ushindi ambayo itaweza kufaidi watu wa Evurole. Watu wa Evurole tunawasihi wakae kwa serikali. Serikali ndiyo inaleta manufaa, serikali ndiyo inaleta barabara, serikali ndiyo inaleta maji, serikali ndiyo inaleta stima. So mimi naomba wakaanji wa Evurole wote wachaguane, watokee kwa wingi, wachaguane wote ili tupate kiongozi mwenye atatupeleka mbali na sio mwingine ni Duncan Murati Anyaga.
The process so far I think is good. I have liked the arrangement that the gate is locked and no vehicle is being allowed access into the school compound where polling is happening. My only plea is that standard be maintained across all the polling stations in the ward. I know it is not the case because my driver has just come from voting in a nearby primary school and he told me he drove in with the vehicle. It means that then there are different arrangements that I think the IBC or the returning officer should issue instructions forthwith, so that we don't want to see situations of people driving and capturing polling stations that we saw in November last year. This I think would be, if it happens, it continues this way, it would be the best thing. We are, however, aware that there are people who have been given money and they are not within the vicinity, but close by, to bribe voters. But that one we are tackling. We are going to deal with it.